Hi, White Witch 110 here. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to be continuing with the Away from the Cabin story. To be honest, it's been on my radar a few times, but I'm too attached to my life here. Of course, I miss you all, but this has always been my home, Abigail told him. You can always room with me if you do. I moved into my dream loft last year. I can ride a bike inside when the weather is shit. Sage laughed. The only reason you wanted it besides my swing, she chuckled. Sage pulled up a photo on his phone. You did it! Abigail smiled widely. Yep, told you I would. Now you have to come back, he teased. They sat until 3 a.m. talking over old times and time that had passed apart from each other. We both need sleep. We can continue this later. How long you staying for? Abigail asked. Not sure. I don't have a schedule, he answered, unpacking his clothes into the closet and dresser. Well, I'm glad to have you here. We can do some touristy stuff, she suggested. Can I meet some of your friends and family? That will be quick. I have 2 friends, Mel, I work with, and Dan, the owner of a local bar. And family? At some point. I need some distance from them. Dad is up north with Melody. Okay. First day was quiet. Some grocery shopping and relaxing. The following week, they were up and going to each tourist location Abigail knew. It was great having Sage in her life again. She was remembering all the fun they had together. The absence of pressure, freeing. Before long, it was Friday. Once again, Scott was at the bar talking with Dan when Nicole walked in. Hi, Dan. Hi, Scott. Hey, Nicole, Dan greeted. Hi, Nicole, Scott said. How are you? You mean how was Abigail? Wouldn't know. Dan placed her usual drink in front of her. What's up? Well, since I told you off. She began turning towards Scott. We hadn't spoken much. I'm sorry, Scott said. It's not your fault this time. She's fed up with the family interference. Nicole took a sip. I can understand, Dan said. She's a strong woman, Nicole. She doesn't always need our help. Abigail doesn't want to be treated like a child. Dan continued serving customers while the other 2 sat in silence. I should get going. Nicole slid off the stool. Say hi to Brad, Scott said. So what are you doing tonight? Sage inquired. I thought we'd go to Dan's for dinner. It's excellent food. Abigail and Sage walked into the bar and sat at a booth. She suggested what to order and had drinks while they waited. Scott, Abigail's here. The waitress informed him. She pointed over to the booth. His heart sunk. Who's he? Never saw him before, but he's cute, she added. Dan, you ever seen that guy? Scott asked. Never. Must be a friend from Toronto. Mel mentioned something last week. Apparently she was really excited he was coming. Scott sat debating if he should go and say hello. He decided to stay at the bar, somewhat out of sight. He watched the 2 laugh and occasionally touch. She looked so happy and relaxed. He couldn't give her that, no matter how hard he tried. Maybe it was time to move on, although he didn't want to. It was obvious Abigail had. Dan took the opportunity to go over and say hello. Well, where the hell have you been? He inquired of her. Dan, this is Sage. Sage, Dan. Sage is visiting from Toronto. How long you here for? Dan asked, shaking hands. I'm not sure. Depends on Abigail. Sage touched her hand. Their food came, and Dan went back to the bar. Well, he started to tell Scott. He's a friend of hers from Toronto. Doesn't know how long he's staying. He says it depends on Abby. His name is Sage. What kind of a name is that? Scott continued to stare. 3 hours later, Abigail and Sage were getting up to leave. Scott's latest song flowed out of the speakers. Let's go, Abigail said, quickly moving towards the door. That is when she caught sight of him. She moved quicker. I'll drive. Sage took her keys. Once back at the house, he left Abigail to her thoughts. In the morning, he asked how she was doing. I'm fine. And they left it at that. Sage wanted to confront Scott in regards to their relationship, but he had heard Abby's words when speaking about her family. He was sitting on the porch when Abigail joined him. I wish I could take you away from all this bullshit. You know, it pisses me off. You've been through enough. Way too much. I know. That's the life when you marry a celebrity. Nothing is easy. You miss the cabin? He asked. Every day. Someone is renting it now, a fan of Scott's. Oh, isn't that convenient? A piece of ass close by, at his beck and call. That's brutal. But it didn't surprise her. Sage was never one to hold back. I'm not sorry for saying it. That's the way I see it. He's not like that. Abigail defended him. Abby, the man cheated on you. How can you make a statement like that? You deserve better. Sage was riled up. The last few hours of the day, the friends sat in silence, hand in hand. It was a late morning when they woke in their rooms. Sage made no apology for his opinion. It was what it was. Scott was getting into his car for another radio interview. Scott, Lisa called from the veranda. Hi, Lisa. Where are you going? She asked. I have an interview downtown. He thought for a moment. Do you want to come? He invited. Sure, let me grab my coat. Lisa ran inside, pulled her coat off the hook, and ran to his car. I haven't seen you lately. You must be very busy. Lisa began the conversation. Yeah, very busy, he lied. At the station, the interview went well, like every other one before. What do we do now? Lisa asked, as they climbed back into the car. We can go to Dan's for lunch, Scott suggested. So that's where they found themselves. Hi, Scott. Dan greeted him. Hi, Dan. This is Lisa. He introduced her. Pleased to meet you, she politely said, extending her hand. Pleasure. You're here for lunch? Dan inquired, showing them to a table. Christine will be right with you. Scott sat staring at Lisa, asking himself, why was he here with her? Lisa's cheeks flushed. She thought he was falling in love. The next evening, Abigail had arranged for Mel to meet Sage. She knew they would get along because they both were passionate about her friendship. A nice-sized ham was an easy dinner, some scalloped potatoes and carrots. The house smelled amazing. Mel showed up at 5:30 for dinner at 6. Hi, Mel. Abigail hugged him. Hey, girl, what's up? He asked. Mel, this is my bestie, Sage. Nice to meet you, Sage. They shook hands. Likewise. It was uncomfortable. Neither man was sure of the other. After dinner, Abigail addressed the situation. I understand. Neither of you are sure of the other, but I am. Sage, you've been there since grade 4. You always listen. Mel, we've grown together with a mutual experience. I trust both of you with all my most intimate secrets. I need both of you in my life. You can trust each other. You're right. We should. If you do. I've been so far away for so long, Sage explained. I suppose my problem is I don't know who was Tom's friend. After hearing what he did, Mel told Sage. I never trusted that bastard. If I had known what was going on. I know, Sage, but he wasn't worth it. So, can you get along? One question, Sage interrupted. Are you dating? No, Mel and Abby said together. All right, just needed the lay of the land. After Mel left, Abigail had a word with Sage. Thank you for giving Mel the respect he deserves. I meant it. Both of you mean the world to me. You two never dated? He was double-checking. No, never crossed our minds. Scott was making his usual pilgrimage to the cabin. Lisa was enjoying the attention. In her mind, they were a couple. In his, he wasn't sure of anything. Why don't you move in? Lisa inquired. Things are good as is for now, Scott replied. Well, when you're ready, I have space for you. She smiled and batted her eyes. He faintly cracked a smile. He still questioned his motives. Being with Lisa in her bed was just sex to him. There was no deep emotion, no love on his part. In Lisa's world, they were on their way to marriage. It was a Wednesday when Sage began taking things serious. There had always been more than a like in his feelings for Abigail. He never took that chance to let her know their friendship was important in his life. But the time had come to let her know. Hey, sweetie, can we talk? Sage asked. Sure, what's up? You leaving me? Hell no. I'm even considering moving here, just to be close to you. I really love it. I understand why you stay. Sage was nervous. This isn't what you want to talk about. I know you, Sage, she smiled. I think you should get back into singing. He had lost his nerve. To make her friend happy, she began singing the vampire love song. Sage joined in. Are you thirsty yet? He moved closer, taking her hands. Will you immerse me, Abigail sang. You make me thirsty. Their bodies swayed. They had lost themselves in the lyrics. Their hands caressed each other's faces. On the last line, Sage placed his mouth on her neck, as to bite. Abigail felt his warm lips. Slowly, Sage moved back, just enough. They searched each other's eyes. Abigail made the first move. She leaned towards him. Sage whispered, Are you sure? Her lips brushed his. She took him in as close as possible. Or he took her in as close as possible. Soft, friendly kisses. He smiled. They were more intent with each connection made. His hand mingled with her hair, cradling her head. The passion rose. The only sound, heavy breathing with lips, with deep kisses. Take me to bed, she quietly told him. Are you sure? He asked. Yes, she responded, followed by a playful kiss. Sage led her to the spare room. He closed the door behind them. Slowly, he drew down the shades. There she lay on the bed, naked, waiting for him. His body enveloped hers. The release was explosive and a long time coming. They were content until the next kiss. The urge swelled once more. Abigail was submerged in everything that was Sage. His body felt perfect with hers. The fit, was gratifying. Once again, they relaxed and blissfully slept side by side. Sage woke first in the morning. He gazed at Abigail, praying they hadn't made a mistake. Thought I felt someone staring. Good morning, she greeted, stretching. Morning. How you feeling? Wonderful. Why? Abigail sat up. Did we make a mistake? He asked, concerned. No, it was a long time coming, at least for me. I wondered. 4 years. Me too, he laughed. Guess we should have done this then. No, now was the right time. So what do we do now? Leave it as a one-off, or... He stopped himself. I'm comfortable with more. I'm comfortable being a couple if you... She didn't complete the sentence. Same here. I need to be truthful. The more time we spent together, I've been hoping, Sage admitted. The past week, I so wanted to kiss you. Her cheeks flushed. The couple showered and began a new path. What will your friend Mel say? He'll be happy, but he'll ask me if I'm sure. I'll tell him yes. I think he'll be jealous? Sage asked. No, he won't be. She was certain. Scott had moved into the cabin once again. His heart truly wasn't in this relationship. He was a zombie going about things programmed into his memory. Lisa was too blind to notice. Nicole had stopped at the mansion to say hello. She's working from home now. I only see her every once in a while, Mel informed her. Abigail is dating Sage now. Sage? When did he get here? Nicole asked, remembering Abigail had mentioned him. A month ago, I think. Nicole hastily left and made a call to her cousin. Hello? It was a male voice. Sage? Nicole asked. Nicole? He wasn't sure. Yeah, how are you? She made small talk. I'm fine. How about yourself? I'm good. So you're visiting Abby. How long are you staying for? I'm not sure. I may decide to stay, Sage informed her. I don't want her hurt. Nicole's voice was stern. I won't hurt her, Nicole. At that point, Abigail had walked into the room. Give me the phone. She held out her hand. Sage knew better, did as requested. Why are you calling? I heard you were dating, and I wanted to make sure Abigail cut her off. We've had this conversation. You have no say in my life. I don't need a mother figure threatening my boyfriend. You need to back off. I'm concerned, Abby. Call it what you want. Stay out of my life. And she hung up. Hey, I'm sorry if I'm causing a problem. Sage felt horrible. No, you aren't. My family believes I can't handle my own life. I've grown tired of their meddling. That's one reason why I left the cabin. I constantly felt I had to be grateful. It never truly felt like my place. Her voice told the story of a woman who was beaten down. I've never had that problem. But I see where best intentions would cause them. Sage was sympathetic. My family need to learn to mind their own business. He slowly had her calm down. He had to agree it wasn't their place. Abigail is a grown woman. She sat on the floor in front of him while he massaged her upper back and shoulders. It felt amazing. Tension was slowly leaving her body. Abigail grabbed hold of one of his hands and kissed it. I'll always be here, he assured her. The problem was, she had heard this before. And we're going to leave it there for this evening, and we'll continue tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this continuation of it. I'd like to thank my YouTube family for coming by to hear another installment. Greatly appreciated as always. You all mean very much to me. If you're new to my channel, please check out my other videos. Maybe something there that interests you. If there is, give it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment and share it out if you think someone else may be interested. While you're here, consider becoming a subscriber, and if you do, remember to click the notification bell. This picture here that you see is one that I think I've taken quite a few years ago. It's on a card. Hubby and I used to take photos and then put them on cards. At one point we did sell them, but then we ended up using them when people we knew were moving on in their life from wherever we were working. Give them a little gift and one of these cards to remember us by. So, this is a sunny, cloudy, cool day here in Ottawa. I hope you're having a great Sunday. We have tomorrow off as it is Victoria Day. There'll be a lot of fireworks, probably tonight and definitely tomorrow. And until tomorrow, as always, ciao for now.